And the system that they have isn't easy to teach. So the coaches over there have a great deal of expertise teaching that Princeton system, which they run, which is very, very hard to defend. So first of all, my hat's off to them. Great job, great season. Hope they, have success in the WNIT. I want to, just really, our kids made history at New Mexico State. We got 117 in a row right now, which is a school record. We've got 3 plus 20-win seasons, 3 WAC tournament titles, 3 regular season titles. I think our record's like 82-19 and 46-2 in the WAC over the last 3 years. So they've done an amazing job. I told them this was their legacy. They're going to remember this forever. They're going to come back and see those banners in the gym. And, a big thing was our seniors. Our senior class, we have 2 different WAC players of the year in the class. Brianna Freeman 2 years ago and Mariah Mack now. We've got 2 all-defensive players. We've got 2 1,000-plus scorers. We've got a second leading shot blocker in our history. So the class, Tyler Ellis was a leading offensive rebound. So the class was awesome. It's going to be hard to replace. But I'm so proud of these kids. I'm so proud of Mariah and Tamara. Tamara's come a long way to do it in front of our home crowd here and play so well and make all tournament. I know that means a lot to her. So I can't say enough. I'm just so very, very, very proud of these kids. And they represented New Mexico State University very, very well. And we put the emphasis on D because, we've spent a long time on branding and getting these people to think that they're special. And, I use a thing. I said, when you graduate from Harvard, you're a Harvard man or woman or Pepperdine or any of those schools. And I said, you know what? We're an academic institution. Right now, you guys are New Mexico State women, and you will represent yourselves as such on and off the court. And it's been a long process for all of them, not just on the floor, off the floor, and all the things that they do and academically and all that. So I'm really, really proud of the way they represented the institution on and off the floor. So.
Okay, we'll open for questions. Mark.
For Mariah and Tamara, Coach kind of just talked about your guys' accolades there, and you 2 were both recruited as this program was hope. And obviously, that's kind of come to fruition here with 3 straight WAC titles. And Coach talked about your guys' legacy. What does that mean to you guys to be the class to do what you guys have done?
It feels amazing to, come here and do what we've done. And like you said, Coach Trakh, sold us on hope, and we believed in, his vision, and he helped us achieve so much since we've been here. So it feels amazing to come here and do what we've done.
I agree. Just this program itself, I'm so amazed, and it was just so awesome, this whole journey for me and for us seniors, and for us to accomplish so much. It just means so much.
Coach, you outscored them 19-6 in the second quarter. How important was that, do you think, in the course of the entire game?
It was real important because, they have 18 points at halftime, and they'd have to really, they'd have to score, 42 just to get 60, and that's a lot, and we figured we were going to get up around 60. So it's important because it increases your odds of winning the game if you just do the math, and unless our defense totally broke down, it was going to be very difficult for them at that point to win the game. But then again, we do like probabilities. What's the percentage that we're going to win this game? And it's about 75%. And I'm sitting there and trying to figure that out analytically. And then I said, weren't the Atlanta Falcons 99.9% going to win that Super Bowl game? And they lost it. So it doesn't always work. But it was big holding them to 18 analytically, yeah.
Got one here, and then we'll go.
For the players, once again, I think Seattle went on an 8-0 run to start the second half. Coach called a timeout right away. You guys already had that big lead, but what was kind of said during that timeout is I want to say you guys went a 13-2 run after that and kind of just blew them out.
I honestly don't remember what exactly was said during that timeout, but it was probably along the lines of, staying composed, getting it back together, don't allow the lead to, let us soften up. So, stay playing hard and just stay composed.
Mariah said it all.
Mark, 19 points to 6 was the big stat, the most important one in the second quarter, but 6 offensive rebounds to 0. How critical was that to dominating the second quarter?
It was critical because the game before we played UMKC, they had 20 offensive rebounds to our 4. So that's an area, especially if a Fungo had 12 offensive rebounds last night against Utah Valley. So Excuse me. So that was very, very important. And very important that we keep it fun and go off the boards. And, yeah, they're talented. I mean, Montgomery's one of the best players in the conference, and Best is just a winner. I mean, Best gets after you, and the freshmen, I love the freshmen. Kamira Sanders just, so it's important that we were aggressive because I know how aggressive they were, and they are.
Mark, I believe in all three of your guys' WAC tournament title wins, it's been blowouts in pretty much every championship game. What is it about your team that obviously they're fired up, play for a championship? What is it about your team to play so well in a championship game?
They're focused. You work all year, and believe me, it's not easy starting in October and keeping them focused. And we're going to have our ups and downs. We had a down when we played 3 really good teams in Vegas, but in December we lost all 3 games. But it helped us because we're playing 3 great teams, and they're all 2, 3, 4-point games. So we were ready for conference. We were tested out of conference. We beat New Mexico. We beat UTEP. And that's big wins for our program. It's the first time in 25 years that we've beaten UTEP and UNM in the same year. So it's huge and focus. I just think you got to be careful during the season. The season's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you got to be careful the number of hours you practice, especially early. You want them to peak now. You don't want them to peak in November 1st. And believe me, we didn't peak November 1st. And we've been relatively injury-free for 3 years, but I think it's because we really we don't do boxing out drills. We don't allow them to dive in practice. We don't allow them to take charges in practice. We do a lot of dry stuff. And you know what? Our record's pretty good considering we don't go live, and we've been pretty healthy. So I think that's key, keeping them healthy and keeping them focused. And they'll be more focused if they're healthy. So the biggest ability is availability, and we've had all our players available for the last 3 years.
Okay, last question.
For the players, firstly, what does it mean for both of you, for Tamara to make the all-tournament team and for Mariah to win the MVP? And also, when you're up by however many points in the final minutes of the game, were those accolades in the back of your head that you two might be getting those things, or did you think about that at all?
No, honestly, I don't think either of us really thought much about those awards. It's definitely honoring to get them, but we were focused on winning the title as a team. I think that means the most to us.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's all that matters to us, and yeah, that's.
I have one more question here.
Mark, you talked earlier about all the great milestones. The next one, though, has to be getting into the tournament and now finally getting that monkey off your back, I guess, so a win.
Well, it's people say that, and we want to do that, but I think we deserve more than a 16 seed, more than a 14. I mean, I don't want to start getting into politics, but there's a team out of the West Coast Conference last year that finished 6th, who Utah Valley beat head-to-head last year. They got a 13 seed, and we got a 15. I didn't understand that at all. We had a better RPI. So I don't know if they just look at our conference and automatically stick us in the 15. But somebody's got to explain why that team was a 13, having lost to a WAC school and finished 6th place and just happened to win their tourney, and why we were 15. We were 16 seed my first 2 years ago. We went to Maryland and played them a 17-point game. It was 10 at halftime. Now you figured if we were good enough to play an undefeated Big Ten team that had beaten the Big Ten by 20 points a game, if we could play them to a 17-point game, and I think if we're a 13 seed, we might have been able to really, really play a 4 seed. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just getting,
Respect or just a perception?
I think it's a perception, and it's a, I had an assistant coach that went to a high mid-major conference, right? And she said to me, UTRGV, Seattle, you would eat this conference. So it's a perception, it's really a perception, and it's a bad one, because I think we're pretty good. I think we can play a lot of people, but they're going to look around, hey, whack, whatever, 24, okay, 16 seed. I hope they don't do that. I think we deserve at least a 14 seed. I mean, we've got a 17-game win streak, and, we played Arizona to an overtime game. We could have won that game, but Arizona won 5 games in the Pac-12. That's not, they didn't win it. They weren't, But you know what? If we could almost beat Arizona, if we can beat UNM, if we could play some of the teams that we played with, I would just hate to get a 16 team. I definitely don't think we should play UConn or Baylor. Hopefully we'll get a 14 seed, and I think that'll increase our chances of maybe winning that first game.
Okay, thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.